We're going to go ahead and get started here this morning. Thank you for coming. We have a great crowd on hand here today. Thank you to Mount Marty University for hosting the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Thank you to our coaches from Mount Marty helping to fill the room today. Excited to pull you away on the last days of July before you hit practices here pretty quick. And thank you again to President Long, who's not with us today, but President Long here at Mount Marty, Andy Bernardo with Mount Marty, and the staff of the Lancers for hosting us for this incredible press conference, incredible opportunity for the Great Plains Athletic Conference. My name is Corey Westra. I'm the commissioner of the GPAC out of Sioux City, Iowa. And the GPAC is getting ready to enter its 25th year as a conference. Hard to believe that we are just days away from 25 years of competition as one of the premier conferences in the NAIA here in GPAC Nation. And to kind of kick that off, we have a really exciting announcement today. And this is one that has been a long time coming for the GPAC, as we are excited to announce the launch of the GPAC network today through Huddle TV. And this is going to be a great opportunity to gain more exposure for our conference on a centralized multimedia portal through Huddle TV. And so we could not be more excited that the GPAC network launches today and is ready for the 2024-25 academic year. We're also excited to announce today that Dakota Mac, a division of First Dakota National Bank, will be the official presenting sponsor of this portal and network for the Great Plains Athletic Conference. We started meeting with Dakota Mac back at Quarterback Club here in Yankton in February. We pitched them this idea. We kind of went around the room, and they got very excited. We got very excited, and they have been hand in hand with us along the way, and will be our presenting sponsor. So thank you to Dakota Mac. Before I kind of jump into the nuts and bolts of what the GPAC network is and what it does and what the opportunities are that it presents, I do want to ask Jeff Wolfgram from Dakota Mac, Senior Vice President for Dakota Mac, to come up and give a few comments on behalf of the company, and I want to officially thank him and welcome him as our presenting partner. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Corey. It is Dakota Mac and First Dakota National Bank's distinct honor and privilege to be associated with this outstanding conference. Dakota Mac specializes in ag real estate financing in Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, pretty much the upper Midwest. Dakota Mac has been around since, 31 years, so a little bit longer than the GPAC conference. And as Corey mentioned, and when I talked to Kurt Dykstra, I kept saying there are so many similarities between the GPAC conference and Dakota Mac. We have to find a way to form this partnership. So once again, I am just so honored. You know, we talk about labor, whether that's universities, colleges, banks, and one of the main reasons I wanted to be associated is because of the student athletes in the GPAC conference, Mount Marty. I'm a former athlete at Mount Marty. I know the discipline, the hard work, the dedication, the commitment, the highs, the lows, that, to be a student athlete. And that's what we look for when we hire people at First Dakota National Bank. So once again, there were just so many similarities. So many things we have in common where, I'll say it again, Dakota Mac is so honored. First Dakota is so honored to be a part of this. We cannot look, this thing's gonna build. This is gonna grow, grow, grow. So thank you again, Corey. Thank you, Kurt Dykstra. Just so excited for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff mentioned Kurt Dykstra with Riverfront Broadcasting, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank him and his staff for also coming alongside and helping us make this happen. They shared the vision as well. They helped foster the relationship with Dakota Mac and just have been there every step of the way as a resource, and they do it tremendously well. We are on KYNT today, so they stepped on board and helped us broadcast today's event. I was joking with Bryce in the back, this will probably be the last YouTube broadcast that the GPAC has, because we have a network now, but we couldn't really do that because we were announcing it here today. So what is a GPAC network? There are so many things about this that I'm excited about. Number one, it's a centralized portal. Our viewers, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandpa, grandmas, anybody that wants to follow those student athletes that Jeff alluded to, they don't have to go hunt and peck anymore. They can go to one centralized location to find GPAC broadcasts. What I have up here to my right in the room is the portal. This is the online portal. It is a little bit of a work in progress, but we are getting there on how it lays out. I do see that one of my logos updated there, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then you can see Dakota Mac there right in the middle. Dakota Mac will be the presenting sponsor, as mentioned, and they will be a part of the broadcast talking about their company and their financing for all your ag needs, as they say there. So that will be a part of what you see on this particular page. If you go down a little bit, you can see the launch of the network is the most up-to-date live event. After the event today, we'll take the video and we will load that in there. You can already see that some of our schools are uploading through Huddle TV to the GPAC network, and that's even updated this morning. As the schools of the GPAC begin to put their broadcasts in chronologically, they will pop up, and that will be your live and upcoming on that top line. If you go down to the next line, those are past broadcasts. And of course, I feel like we haven't played in a long time, which is kind of true. That goes back to the opening round of softball and baseball. Some of our schools have been on Huddle TV, so you'll see those broadcasts there. Those are mostly opening round baseball and softball games from this spring. And then another really great component of the GPAC network is that you can go to the school that you want. On the portal page online, you will get access to all the schools and the GPAC Championships tab. So if you want to watch Mount Marty, as an example, you would just click on Mount Marty. In fact, if you want to go ahead and do that, this will take you into a Mount Marty specific portal where Mount Marty's broadcasts will be listed, and they'll load their schedule up here very, very soon. Not all our schools were on Huddle TV, so there's a little bit of a learning curve with our sports information directors, but they're doing a great job of coming on board with that. So that's the portal. That's also available on your phone, but probably the best way on your phone is through Android and Apple App Store. And those are slowly coming out. They'll be live by the start of the season. If you're on the go and you have your phone in your hand all the time, you can just pull up an app, whether you're on Android or Apple, and you can just watch games right there. But maybe the thing I'm most excited about is the smart TV option. Most of us have a smart TV in our home or in our bedroom or in our office or wherever we watch television, whether that be through Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV, and we are going to be available on all those platforms. So when you're in your living room on a Wednesday night for GPAC basketball or a Saturday afternoon for GPAC football or wherever sport we're playing in the conference, it's right there. The Roku and Fire apps are live. If you have those two platforms, you can go home today, search it, put in GPAC Network, and you can start to see how that lays out. On that platform, on the Smart TV platform, you have to add your school. So if you only want Mount Marty, because we're at Mount Marty as an example, you can just add Mount Marty, and Mount Marty's broadcast will show at the bottom along with the live and the past broadcasts that I talk about. If you want to put all 12 of our schools in, you can certainly do that as well, and then all the schools' broadcasts will come up and you'll have just the same access here to go to these pages. So just some great opportunities for exposure. We are not taking away from the schools their opportunity to post on their website. If they want to stream to YouTube or through other platforms at their page, they are welcome to do that. We are simply asking that the games also be sent to this new GPAC network so that everybody can access it in one platform. Very exciting. Huddle TV has been incredible to work with. Mark Krug, Dan Robinson, and their team just have bent over backwards for us to get us up and running. Dan Robinson has literally been begging us for about 5 years, you need to do this. And we did need to do this. I said to our athletic directors, this is kind of that one big thing that we didn't have in the conference. And we have so many great things going on, but we didn't have this centralized portal. So to that end, for what it means to the GPAC, I'd like to welcome up Andy Bernardo, the athletic director here at Mount Marty University. As Andy makes his way up here, I want to recognize Chuck Iverson in the back. Athletic Director Emeritus. How's that for a title? At Mount Marty University, former women's basketball coach. Chuck, you've been with this league 25 years. We've come a long ways, haven't we? No doubt about it. And so, Chuck, I'm so honored that you came today to be a part of this, and I'll let you get back to the dock and to the fishing and all that here in just a little bit. But Andy carries that torch now for Mount Marty, and he has a response from the athletic directors on what this means. Andy.
Thank you all for joining us today. Fan engagement is a better fan engagement creates a better platform for our student athletes. And with the creation of the GPAC network, we're going to get to do that. And we understand that having this network will create a better viewership. And so more people, more eyes will be on our student athletes. A few years ago, Corey Westra set a task force, and he wanted us to look at radio broadcasting, and he wanted us to look at live streaming. And really the roots of the GPAC network came to being. And we had a few friends along the way really help us out. And it's similar to what Corey said. You know, I do have some thank yous in regards to the creation of this network. Kurt Dykstra. Kurt is the Mount Marty University Lancer Club Steering Committee President, and he's the General Manager of Riverfront Broadcasting, which oversees KYNT and KYNTV. Kurt has worked hand in hand with Corey to ensure that we could get this off the ground. And he was really instrumental in locking us into a lead sponsor. Jeff Wolfgram, Dakota Mac, and First Dakota are that sponsor. You know, Jeff, Dakota Mac, and First Dakota have always been great in regards to their support to Mount Marty in this community. This relationship has now raised with the connection to the GPAC network. We'd also like to thank Corey Westra. The Great Plains Athletic Conference is one of the best small college conferences in the nation. And we have one of the best leaders in Corey Westra. So the athletic directors and administrators across the conference, we thank you, Corey, for all your work in creating this network. Huddle and Dan Robinson of Huddle. There are a lot of similarities with the 12 institutions that we have in the GPAC, but with that, there are some differences. Dan worked really hard to ensure that we could have this network while working around our differences. Last, I would like to thank my fellow GPAC athletic directors and administrators. I appreciate how hard they work for our student athletes and how invested they are. The athletic directors have a saying. That saying is GPAC living. Well, today, with the creation of this network, GPAC living got a little better today. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And yes, I do want to thank that task force that came to be a few years ago that really helped to start the conversations. I also remember a conversation with Dr. Mark Long in his office about why not? Why can't we have a broadcast network? And we had some differences. And as we have for 25 years, or 24 going on 25 years, we work through differences and come to consensus and compromise. And here we are today with this announcement. You know, I have a chance today to just share a few great things going on in the GPAC as well, and I'll close with this and then I'll open it up to questions. But 25 years, it's hard to imagine 2000 and 2001 when the Nebraska-Iowa Athletic Conference approached 4 schools in the Dakotas and Iowa and said, how about coming over and joining us? The vision of Dr. Bob Borichter, who was at Hastings, Todd Berry, who was at Northwestern at the time, and then former commissioner, my predecessor, Paul Clark, to form this new GPAC. The students named this league. They came up with the name, and I think that's so fitting because it's been a student-centered league based on academic and athletic excellence ever since. So the GPAC was founded by students, honestly, for students. And what a great opportunity. So 25 years, here we go. It's going to be a great year. We catapulted into year 25 by learning earlier this summer that we were the top NAIA conference competitively in the Learfield Directors' Cup standings. That is a huge honor. When that came up from Learfield through NACTA, the National Association Collegiate of Directors of America, our logo was right next to the SEC. How about that? The SEC and the GPAC on the same page together, named as top conferences in the country, along with the Division II and Division III as well. So I texted Kalen DeBoer, in the SEC. And I said, how about that, Kalen? You're doing a pretty good job. You stayed with one. And he texted right back, goes, that is awesome. And he never forgets his roots here. So really, really cool that we were the top conference in the country. If you go to our website, gpacsports.com, over the last days we've honored some people in our conference. Our athletic director of the year, our athletic trainer of the year, our sports information director of the year named the Rebbe, who is named in honor of Dave Rebstock, the former SID at Morningside. And welcome to Nick Booth today, the current SID at Morningside, who made the trip over. Those award winners have been announced along with our Liston, Dewar, Champions of Character, and Dr. Leroy Walker winners. You can go see those on our website today. Those are the best of the best. They represent the student athletes of the GPAC and our coaches. It's an Olympic year. We have an Olympian in this conference, and you've probably seen it on social media. Ben Jeffries from Briar Cliff, current assistant coach, former athlete for BCU, will be in Paris for Great Britain in just a couple of short weeks. Well, this week, actually, the end of this week into early next week. And yesterday we learned that we will have Talia Williams from Doane in the Paralympics in Paris as well, former athlete for the Tigers. Tremendous what these student athletes are doing from our schools. We learned about a football player in our conference going to a Division I school and living out that dream to have that opportunity, but giving all that credit back for the competition in this conference with Jalen Gramstad. We talk about Kalen DeBoer, whose roots started in this league over 20 years ago, and now at Alabama with the Roll Tide, and easily one of the most high-profile coaches in the country. But maybe what I also want to tie into today's press conference is that by having Huddle on board, we expand our opportunities in-game. In football, we will have replay this year. That will be done through a company called Sky Coach, and we're really excited about that. And we will have replay in women's and men's basketball this year as well, in-game. The game is changing. The sports are changing. And where we're going with it, we have to keep up. We have to be forward-thinking, progressive. So we are doing a lot going into this 25th year of the GPAC. You probably wouldn't advise a league to chew that much, but we were ready. We were ready to take on all these challenges with our incredible athletic directors, sports information directors, our faculty reps, and our awesome council of presidents led by our chair, President Greg Christie at Northwestern. And again, as we go into year 25, we welcome Waldorf University to this conference out of Forest City, Iowa. They are tremendously excited to join GPAC Nation. We're 12 members strong and have a lot of great things going. I can't wait for August, but I go on vacation tomorrow. I'm taking a little break. Hope the fish bite. I'll open it up to questions for myself, for Andy, for Jeff. We are happy to take your questions. Otherwise, we will close down the press conference with our announcement. And then Andy has been gracious to have a couple of great partners of Mount Marty, Runza and Pizza Ranch, providing some lunch for you. So that might cut down on the questions. But please ask questions about how this came to be, what it means, and anything that's on your mind. Quiet group. Yes?
Will it be a pay service?
There is an option for it to be a pay service. That is part of the growing of the network. So we're eating the elephant one bite at a time, okay? So there will be some pay service on there. There will not be some pay service. That's a part of compromise. We'll continue to work through that. But we have some opportunities for that. Certainly since COVID, pay service pay-per-view has become more popular, but there's differing opinions on that. We'll leave that for a debate for another day, but it is an option that is available and is a part of the platform, but also does not have to be a part of the platform. Others? Okay.
Will we live stream all the GPAC champions?
Yeah, so that's a piece of the puzzle we'll put together, particularly when I think about track and field and cross country, wrestling. We'll work with our schools hopefully to kick those into the championships portal, if not at least through the host school at that time. But our goal is to have video on board from all those championships. We've done a pretty good job in track and field. with our facilities. I know here at Mount Marty, they added multiple cameras inside the Donahoe field house. And so, yes, we have a GPAC Championships portal. We'll kind of work through what goes in there or over against what goes under the host school. For example, Mount Marty hosted indoor track this past year and they streamed it through their service. Well, if that was the case this year, it would have been in the portal and still would have been available just under Mount Marty. So, but yes, we do have a GPAC Championships tab, if you will, or whatnot, a landing page, and we'll work through that, Coach. Great question. Yes, Nick?
Do you plan to stream the GPAC wrestling duel dates on here as well?
Yeah, my goal would be is that the championships or the duels days for wrestling would be kicked into this portal now, and we would do that accordingly. The duels dates are going on to campuses this year, so that kind of makes it a little bit easier instead of the neutral location. So again, as Andy alluded to, there's a lot of pieces to this. There's a lot of, I've always had this saying, the good news about the GPAC is we were one of the first leagues for each individual school to have video. The bad news is we were one of the first leagues for each individual school to have video. So there's a lot of individuality in there, and maybe a little stubbornness from time to time. You know, hey, I like what I do. I like what we do. It works. I trust it. I think you'll find that you can trust this platform. This is a great platform. This has been pretty well tried out by a lot of people. Very few issues within the Huddle TV platform. It's technology. Grow with us, please. Anybody else with questions? All right. Well, in closing, I am so excited for year 25. And again, to Dakota Mac, I see Susie back there, Jeff to my left. Thank you for coming on board and partnering with us. Riverfront Broadcasting, thank you for helping us get to this point. I said to Kurt when I walked in today, can you believe it? We made it. This is